Welcome to the College Admissions Process Podcast presented by Prep Expert. Prep Expert offers live online SAT and ACT courses with the best score guarantees, instructors, and curriculum. Go to prepexpert.com to guarantee your child's success. I'm also excited to share my book, Straight from the Admissions Office, a review of my biggest takeaways from the first few hundred podcast episodes. It's packed with direct insights from admissions professionals and practical tips to help students and their families navigate the college admissions process. You can find all of the information in the show notes. Welcome to The Cap, where we are here to speak with college reps and other professionals in the field of college admissions to help answer all your questions and guide you through every step of the process. So if you're serious about college admissions, you've come to the right place. Are you ready? Let's talk about it. And now, here's your host, Dr. John Durante. Welcome to The Cap, the College Admissions Process Podcast. I am your host, John Durante, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you today Nick Galli, who's an admissions counselor at Florida Tech. Nick, so great to have you here. How are you?
Doing really well. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
It is our honor and pleasure, Nick. And so Florida Tech has a strong reputation as a STEM-focused institution with a hands-on, research-driven approach to learning. Nick, how does that mission come to life in the day-to-day student experience, both inside and outside of your classrooms?
Well, we are located on the Space Coast in Florida. So it's a very high-tech area. It's the fourth largest high-tech area in the country. So our location is conducive for a lot of the programs that we have. We have flight and in robotics. Also, our area code is 321. So it's all very space-centric. So we do have that going for us. Inside the classroom, our faculty have a lot of industry experience. We are we're Tier 1 research institution. Cutting edge technology, project-based learning. So we are, even though we're small, we are a mighty university in terms of our research. Outside, we have a lot of undergraduate research. We have internships and co-ops, student design committees, and we have a lot of living learning communities such as women in STEM, engineering and science, flight, computer science, psychology, business, that kind of thing.
Well, I appreciate you talking about your living learning community. So I'm assuming that students that are like-minded, they live in the same quarters so that hopefully, again, they're building that community and they come back year after year at Florida Tech. Am I right there, Nick?
You are right. And my background at the university is in the flight portion. So I'll take, for instance, our flight community. We have, like you said, like-minded flight students living together. And in flight, they're kids, so they're learning how to train to be pilots. They can't afford to get a DUI, a driving under the influence of drugs or alcohol. So having them all together is a really good thing. They watch out for each other. They're in the same situation. So some students want that experience where, hey, I don't want to be with a like-minded person. I want a different major, and that they work better in that environment. And a lot of our students, they want to be with the like-minded people. So we do have that opportunity if they want to get into that.
Well, I appreciate that. And for students who are passionate about science, engineering, computing, or aeronautics, what else makes Florida Tech stand out from other STEM-focused institutions, particularly when it comes to your culture, the opportunities you afford students, and of course, that overall community?
Well, basically, we're a small school. We have about 3,500 undergrad, 2,000 grads. So we're on the small side. So it's a more personalized experience. Also, the proximity to those high-tech companies, NASA is nearby, SpaceX, Blue Origin, Lockheed Martin. So lots of security companies. So a lot of our students do go on and get a security clearance. So it makes it fun for us. Also a little bit it's frustrating because we don't exactly know what they are working on. But we do have a fully functioning flight line that we train pilots on. And interesting to note that you keep mentioning STEM, and that's a great thing for us because we are STEM. 75% of this student body is STEM. Again, science, technology, engineering, math. So we are focused on that. Half of our students are engineers.
Well, that's terrific. And Nick, so many people want to hear about the overall application process. So at Florida Tech, what could you share? Let's try to pull the curtain back a little bit. What could you tell us about your overall application review?
So this is the most important question when we have visitors during the day, during the weekday. Hey, how do we get into the school? Basically, our school is very, very simple. It involves 3 criteria. 1, we need an application. 2, we need an SAT, ACT, or CLT. And 3, we need a transcript. So we need to have those 3 things. So it's really objective. We have minimums for the SAT, ACT, and GPA, but basically about 60% admit rate. So it makes it easier. We do encourage students, I do encourage students to all the things that they're doing in high school, all the clubs, all the activities, the sports, that's going to come into play later on. A lot of our students will go ahead and do internships. So they say, well, all the activities that I do in high school, is that going to matter? Not on the entry part for our academics, but it will when we come to those work experiences, those internships, and those co-ops.
Well, we appreciate that. So there's three criteria that you look at. Number one, submit the application, students, your standardized tests, which are a must at Florida Tech, and of course, the transcript where that GPA is indicated. Now, Nick, Florida Tech is in fact not test optional. Tests are mandated. Could you give us a little bit of insights in terms of why?
Basically, in Florida, a lot of the public schools are going to be are going to require the exams. So we follow the Florida public school model. So we're going to require SAT, ACT, CLT. So it really, we feel it compares apples to apples, and most of the engineers, most of the science students are going to take those exams. So it gives us a baseline of comparing student to student. So the SAT, our mid 50% is 1150 to 1330, with the minimum being at 1010. ACT mid is about 20, maybe about 24 to 29, 30, and the minimum there is a 19. So it allows us to look more critically at a student at a national level.
Well, we appreciate that. And you mentioned the GPA just a little earlier. So, Nick, when reviewing a student's transcript, what are the key elements you focus on beyond that GPA?
Well, we divide the students into two, STEM and non-STEM. So if they're a STEM student, what we're going to do, and again, remember, 75% of them are. So what we're looking at with STEM students is we're looking critically at math and science courses that they take. So we try and tell all guidance counselors in high school, hey, we need a student that has the pre-calc or the equivalent of pre-calc. There's some buzzwords that I could use, but the bare minimum would be trigonometry. And a lot of students get to algebra 2. If you're going to graduate with algebra 2 being the highest math course you've taken, then I can't admit you as a STEM student. But we do have business, psychology, aviation that you could get and that you can be involved with. The other things that we look at beyond would be any activities in robotics. So if a school has a VEX or a FIRST robotics team, we will give that student $2,500 a year, so $10,000 for 4 years for just being a member. So I tell people all the time, hey, if your school offers that, if you can become a member, that'll look great for you. The other thing that we look at is scouting. So I think the Boy and Girl Scouts of America have changed things recently. So I think that girls can now become what's called an Eagle Scout, what formerly was known as a Gold Award. So anybody that's at that level, the Eagle Scout level, we will give them also an additional $2,500 that will stack on top of their merit scholarship.
Well, that's terrific to know. Again, I'm going to mention that 75% of your students are applying to your STEM fields. And I appreciate what you said, and I'm going to repeat it because it's a really good question for students and their families to ask a representative, whether it's a high school visit, whether you students are on campus, or if you're at a college fair. So what Nick explained is that if you're applying to the STEM fields, particularly in math, at a minimum, you have to have whatever the equivalent is of pre-calculus in your high school. And again, I state at a minimum. If you're able to go beyond that, fantastic. In addition, in terms of the work that you do outside of the classroom, Nick points to robotics. And not only is that important in terms of the overall application, but you also could get some money there in addition to being a scout. Anything that I missed there, Nick?
No, it's perfect, John. The thing about scouting and robotics, we've found that students that are involved in those activities perform very well at college level. So they're great candidates for us, and we are generally very generous when it comes to those students that are in that field.
Well, that's great insight. Again, there's a correlation. If you're in robotics, if you are a scout, there's a correlation in terms of the type of community member that you're going to be and how you're going to participate in this wonderful thing that we call Florida Tech. So, Nick, let's dig a little deeper in terms of your review. In terms of the GPA, do you recalculate it to a standardized scale? And how does your team account for differences across so many high schools?
I really have to say I'm really happy that you put this question, that you posed this question to me, because Florida, most of the country, we deal with an unweighted or weighted GPA on a 4.0 or 5.0 scale. So basically, what I need and all of the undergraduate counselors at Florida Tech need is we need to recalculate a score, a transcript that puts it on a 5.0 scale. So in New York, for instance, and some other states like Georgia, they'll use a 100-point scale. So I'll take that and I'll convert it to a 5.0 scale. And basically, if you're listening out there, you're a student, prospective student or parent, basically what I do is any class that you take and your transcript reflects an honors class, that'll be a weight. If you get a 90 or above or an A in that, that'll be on a 4.5 scale. And anything at a college level, so that's AP, IB, ACE, dual enrolled, that's a 5.0 scale. So that's important because the higher weight that you have, the more rigorous coursework that the student takes, that student should be rewarded, and this is where they get rewarded. Right here, right there. So the question is posed to us is, should I take that extra class? Should I take that AP Calc, that AP US History? I am going to look at the grades up to the end of junior year. It's very important that you guys have a life. Senior year is the best time of your life. So if you're going to take that more difficult class, that's great, and it'll definitely help you later on in your college career. But just know there's a work-life balance, and we want you to be able to live your life as well as take these rigorous courses.
Well, we appreciate that. And of course, you're going to look at the grades through the end of junior year because, of course, on the transcript, that is what is available. In terms of the work in progress in senior year, how much weight do you give that, Nick?
Well, if the student has what we need, I'll look at, again, as I said, I looked at the classes they take. So if they're taking an AP English, whether it's lit or lang, I can waive the communication placement exam. If they take calculus or above, calculus, not pre-calc, but calculus or above, I can waive the math placement exam. So we do take a look at all of that. And so it's kind of important what they do. If I need to, a student's a borderline student now, I'll look at their senior coursework, and if their GPA goes up, I'll recalculate it based on that. But basically, the way it works, even though we're rolling admissions, and I won't need an answer until May 1st for every major, with the exception of flight. Flight's going to be earlier because we have a finite number of slots there. I don't need an answer until May. So basically, I can take a look at your senior year and recalculate that at any point.
And Nick, when you're recalculating, I was just curious, are you recalculating just the core subjects, or are you recalculating any course that a student took throughout high school?
Great question. I am going to look. I'm going to look at what makes the student their grades enhance. Remember, I'm an admission counselor. I'm not a reject counselor. I'm trying to look for ways that I can admit this student, and so I'll do what's best for the student. But I do have limits, and I'm going to look critically at their major coursework, but I'll calculate that GPA based on whatever's on there. Again, because I want to make it across the board. I have New York is my state. I also have Tennessee and Kentucky. And Tennessee and Kentucky have it out of 5.0 scale. So it would only be fair to include, when I'm doing other schools, when I recalculate, to include all of their coursework, not just their major courses.
Terrific. And you mentioned that you're rolling admissions, and we have a very wise audience. I know that for sure, based on the questions that I get through my email. So could you just give us a little insight in terms of what rolling admissions means at Florida Tech? In other words, any deadlines and how you're rolling out acceptances or anything else?
Yeah, John. So basically, it's a great question because rolling admissions means different things to different schools. And here at Florida Tech, the national deadline is May 1st. And so we would like an answer by May 1st, and an answer is in the form of a tuition deposit. So that's what we have. No, we don't need to take action at any point. The interesting thing with Florida Tech, though, is we can enroll students. Usually the first day of class is the third Monday in August. We can admit students up to the second week in August, even beyond in some places. I wouldn't recommend that. And if anybody asks me, hey, when should I apply? My answer always is apply when you are happy with your SAT, ACT score. Once you're happy with that score, you have the requisite GPA we need, I can make a decision. And most students, seniors, want a decision in the fall. So when you're sitting around the table for Thanksgiving, you'd be able to tell your aunt and uncles, hey, I got into Florida Tech. They got back to me. I can turn it around in 2 days if all of the criteria are in there. But with the rolling admissions, basically May 1st is the traditional deadline, but we can extend that if need be.
Understood. And Nick, Florida Tech, of course, offers unique opportunities for undergraduate research, internships, and partnerships with industry leaders. You mentioned earlier you're not too far from NASA. How early can students get involved in these kinds of experiences, and what does that hands on learning look like in practice?
But we promote our experiential learning. So there's going to be a lot of work in the field. They're going to get their hands dirty. It's easy to see in terms of aviation or marine sciences what they're going to do, but others it can be a little bit more difficult to see. Students can get involved in work experience, and again, a work experience is defined as an internship or co-op as early as freshman year. Freshman year, students can. We've had undergrads publish. So it's kind of interesting with that. But we have a Panther Institute Research Institute. So there's lots of opportunities for young students to do that. A bit of advice, again, it depends on what the audience is that's listening. If you have young kids, early high school kids, 10th grade, 11th grade, the things that they establish in their resume at this time will get them internships in college. So it's never too early. So if you want to position yourself, get involved, maybe become a ski instructor or a lifeguard, stuff like that. A lot of the organizations and high tech organizations are looking for interns, and sometimes things that you get involved with early on can lead to securing that internship. These are internships by us. Because of our location, they can become quite competitive. And if you have a really good, stout resume, you can get that position for as early as freshman year.
Well, I appreciate you mentioning the internship opportunities because really, and correct me if I'm wrong, Nick, you're looking for two main things. Number one, you want to make sure that the students can handle the academic rigor once they're on your campus, right? So you want to see what they did in high school that's going to mirror whether or not they can handle the work. But also you want to see the type of community member they're going to be, the kinds of activities that they took part in to see how serious they are in these STEM fields or not. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, you really do. It's a tough balance, and some of these kids have, and you know this, John. Their resumes, their transcripts are phenomenal. I mean, these are kids that you can tell right away they're going somewhere. So we have every April we have a showcase. It's hosted by Northrop Grumman, and you can really see it's like a science fair on steroids. And these kids, they get jobs in these high tech companies based on these projects. So these projects are absolutely real. We have a career services department that they have career fairs, they have internship fairs. But they really can find these kids jobs, and they cast a really wide net. So you want that well-rounded student. Everybody wants that well-rounded student, and you really work with these kids on a daily basis, and you don't really know what they're doing academically until you actually go to these showcases and see what these guys are working on, the environmental activity that they're doing. It's absolutely amazing what a lot of these kids, the robotic, I mean biomedical engineers, what they're creating in terms of prosthetics and stuff like that. It's absolutely fantastic. But yeah, game design, cybersecurity, the games that they play are so far beyond anything that I had witnessed in high school and college. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of amazing students out there, and it really feels like you have something for everyone, which leads me to the next question. For neurodiverse students or those, Nick, that had IEPs or 504 plans while in high school, what types of support does Florida Tech provide both in the admissions process and on campus to help them thrive academically and, of course, personally?
So again, small schools, so we're able to work on them one-on-one in the admissions office. If they have any issues or questions, say, hey, am I admissible? We'll give them that treatment, one-on-one treatment. In terms of our students, the academic support services that we offer is amazing. The academic support department has expanded year after year. They're in a very big facility now. We have more and more students that are coming in with IEPs or need some kind of assistance, whether it's free tutoring, peer mentoring, study groups, whatever it may be. We also have an office of accessibility resources for accommodations in the IEPs, the 504. So they're going to get personalized accommodation plans. And we also have wellness counseling and all that kind of stuff. So it depends on what you need, whether it's support animals, whatever it is. It's led by a guy named Rod Newcomb, and Rod is a fantastic guy. He used to be my academic advisor when I first started. So he's an awesome guy and fantastic memory. So and we get this a lot nowadays. I think most schools do. The academic support can make or break some students' interest in the school, and ours is fantastic. So we encourage you guys to come, ask questions, and absolutely do a visit.
Absolutely. The academic support is so important. Another thing, of course, is affordability. That's another top of mind thing for so many students and their families. Nick, how does Florida Tech approach financial aid, including those merit-based scholarships, need-based aid, and any unique programs that help families manage cost?
So very generous merit scholarship, and it's automatic. So basically, remember I told you there are three things that we need. Well, two of those, basically your GPA on your transcript and your SAT, ACT score, will work as metrics to see what kind of merit scholarship you're going to get. So basically, we have different tiers of scholarship, merit scholarship. And they range last year. And to get ready for this podcast, I asked my boss, hey, what does the 2026 look like? And he said it's going to look a lot like 2025, he believes. So it's going to be anywhere from $12,000 to $24,000 off tuition based on your numbers, based on, again, those SAT, ACT, and GPA. So it's a sliding scale. So if you have a really, really high GPA, take that SAT, take that ACT, we'll super score it, and you'll get some money on that. And I mentioned earlier the robotics and the scouting. Again, $2,500 a year, so $10,000 for 4 years. I'm going to be like every admission counselor in the country and advise all of you, if you can hear me, if you're a senior and it's October 1st, try and fill out that FAFSA form, submit that FAFSA. If you think, hey, my family makes too much money, I'm not going to get any need-based money. You may not get need-based money, but we do have, my boss has discretionary money. It's institutional money that he can disperse. So please, go ahead and fill out that FAFSA. You have nothing to lose. It's free, hence the first F there. So just fill it out. You let us give you a financial package and see what we can do.
Well, that's great advice. Definitely fill it out. And another kind of question that I get more and more recently is from transfer students. So, Nick, for students considering a transfer into Florida Tech, either again from a 2-year or 4-year institution, what kind of credit evaluation, advising, and support is available to ensure a smooth academic and even social transition for those students?
Yeah, we're getting a lot of transfer interest as well. A lot of students want to go to a local community college and then transfer in. Just know that when you are a transfer student, there is going to be scholarship money as well. So it's going to be automatic merit scholarship. It's not going to be as robust as it would be if you're a first-time in college student. But basically what we do is we create a transfer credit evaluation, so a TCE. We'll evaluate all of your transcripts from all of your schools. So you need to send those in so that we can evaluate them. And we have people that work just on that. Basically, when a student accumulates 24 or more college credits at another institution, we will no longer look at their high school criteria. So we're not going to look at the SAT or ACT scores. We're not going to look at the high school. I'll still look at your high school transcript to see what courses you've taken, what the highest math is. But basically, 24 credits is the magic number for us. We're not going to look at high school. We'll look at college. So basically, for us and transfer students, it's all about your GPA at the other schools.
Well, that's great insight. And Nick, as AI tools continue to shape how students approach writing and research, how is your admissions team adapting to ensure essays and application components remain authentic and useful in the review process?
So again, we really are objective in terms of our admission process, as we mentioned, but the AI is AI is everywhere. I'm taking grad classes, and a lot of what I'm taking is all about AI. So what we do is we partner. We have a company that we hire to track the likelihood of a student enrolling. And so what we do is when I'm out traveling in New York, Tennessee, Kentucky, I'll have what we call meet and greets, and I'll meet at a hotel. And the students can sign up and meet with me, and I'll explain everything that they need to know, because they, coming to Florida sometimes, depending on where you are, can be difficult. So we use our AI program and figure out the likelihood of that student. If the student has a high likelihood of attending our university, we can offer that family more money. So AI is becoming, you all know what AI is becoming. It's really becoming very, very widespread and ubiquitous. So we have in the industry, in the admission counselor industry, we have CRM platforms that are very, very smart. And so we can see when a student opens up an email or a text, we can actually see how many times a student has opened up an email. So when I send an email, a congratulatory email, hey, congratulations, you've made Florida Tech, I can see that somebody's opened it 37, 38 times. So it's kind of powerful. But it shows the likelihood. I'm not saying that you should go there and keep clicking, but it is a robust system. So.
Well, that's awesome. And this conversation has been phenomenal. Nick, before I get to my last question, I always like to ask, is there a question I didn't ask that you wish I had, or something important about Florida Tech you'd like to share with students, families, and counselors that listen that simply didn't come up in the conversation?
Well, I just think this would be an interesting thing. So our school, Florida Tech, offers aviation. So I am not only the New York admission counselor, but I'm also the flight expert. So what's happening in the flight world, in the aviation industry nowadays, is there's shortages of pilots, and so we train pilots. So this is a completely different conversation. It would be a completely different podcast, but the needs of students wanting to become pilots, the salaries have more than tripled since I started in 2011. Wow. So that's the one thing I think that I could talk on and on about. So definitely a conversation for another time, but I would love to talk about aviation with anybody that's interested.
Fantastic. And if anyone is interested, Nick, what's the best way for them to do additional research or maybe even contact you?
Well, so fit.edu is a great website, and my personal email is ngalli@fit.edu if anybody wants to talk to me. And it doesn't matter where you go. Aviation is a smallish industry, and I'd love to help out if you have any questions, regardless of where you are. It doesn't hurt to ask.
Well, that's terrific, Nick. Thank you so much. And unfortunately, it does lead us to the last question here, which is, what are your top 3 pieces of advice for students and their families getting ready for the college admissions process?
So no matter where you're thinking of going, my best bit of advice is do not be shy. Go out there, ask questions, make connections with professors. Remember, the admission process is only one small part of it. Once you get to your school, you're going to be doing at least 4 years of work there. So ask questions, try and find out as much information as you can. It's never too early. We talk to 10th graders, 8th graders, trying to find out. A lot of the students nowadays are very, very savvy, and they will make decisions based on what kind of research they're going to be doing. Another one is don't be afraid of cost. Don't be afraid of distance. If you're interested in a school, you'll find a way. Try and get packaged by that school. Submit your application, even if you think you're overreaching. You never know. You'll have regrets if you don't. So reach out, find out, let them come up with a financial plan for you, and don't be afraid to ask for additional money. The other thing is research the best time to apply to a school. A lot of students will apply too early or too late. Every school has different requirements, hence the John's podcast. So find out when the best time for your particular student or for you to apply. It's not always what you think it is.
Well, Nick, this has been a phenomenal conversation. You and I met at a college fair not too long ago, and I'm so grateful that you're here today on the podcast. Obviously, Florida Tech is so lucky to have you, as were we, during this conversation. Thank you so much, Nick.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Our pleasure. And to everyone out there, good luck with the college search. Take care all, and best wishes. Thank you for joining us on this episode of The CAP, the College Admissions Process Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, please don't forget to tell a friend and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. I am your host, John Durante, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of The CAP. Thank you for listening to the College Admissions Process Podcast presented by Prep Expert. Prep Expert offers live online SAT and ACT courses with the best score guarantees, instructors, and curriculum. Go to prepexpert.com to guarantee your child's success.